Om. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Upanishad, starting with chapter 3. We did the Sambandh Bhashya last week. We'll just recap that and get into the verses and hopefully are able to complete it today. Let's see. So, the third chapter, it began and the purpose of it was so that the ignorant, the overeducated do not come to this conclusion that Brahman does not exist, because that Brahman is the substratum and it is the only thing that can be known, and that everyone is, and known how? Known aparokshena, not known as a thought knowledge. Then second, that we must, in this chapter we will see that, or this is being brought out, that by all means and ways we must come to that supreme Brahman or that supreme God. Here it is taken as the Yaksha. And who is this Yaksha? Who is this supreme controller? He is the overall he is what? Aikshanta. He is the overall controller of all the gods, the Ishvara of all the Ishwaras. And then also one more thing that will be brought out through this story is that it is very difficult to talk about Brahman and explain, and our explanation, our comprehension, our understanding is only at the mind level, and Brahman being the cause of the mind, beyond the mind, transcendental to the mind, it is very difficult to be known or appreciated, but it is. And another point that was brought out was that so from the previous point, what we should do, that we should not go and try to understand Brahman. We should not go and try to understand the reality. And sometimes, why sometimes? Most of the times, when we are talking or we are listening, or we must do it subjectively, because the topic that is at hand is to be interacted with subjectively, not interacted with as collection of information, because no amount of understanding is going to bring you to that conclusion, that because understanding is at the intellect level, and intellectually we can never find a resolution with regards to Brahman, because Brahman, we are that, Brahman is that because of which even the intellect is, if we want to say it that way. And thirdly, lastly, Brahman is that because of whom all the gods won the war against the asuras. And we told you last week that asuras and the suras, the good thoughts and the bad thoughts, the good notions and the bad notions, the good desires and the bad desires, all these are, this is how our mind is. It's continuously fluctuating between the two. And are we here to so through this story, uh, we have to we have to first overcome the negative forces within us, come to the positive one, and only by making the positive, by coming to the positive and reaching the completely positive. What is that word? Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva, absolutely pure. Only then we will be able to transcend the Sattva also, provided we are having a feeling of greatness, we are seeking Him out and not trying to understand Him. And seeking Him out how? Atmatvena, then that's the way. And therefore, then as the verse began, the chapter began, the Sambandh Bhashya began, it gave us various standpoints. And what is that? That unless and until we don't have a feeling of greatness towards something, till then we don't pursue it. We don't think about it. We don't want it or desire it. So until unless we don't have a feeling of greatness towards Brahman, then we will not be seeking that. We approached Srimad Bhagavatam only because we have greatness toward feeling of greatness, that He is the greatest, He is the Ishvara, He knows who He is essentially, and therefore taking the support of Krishna through Bhagavad Mahapuran, we want to transcend. And that's why we stuck with it for so many years. That's why we are holding on to the scriptures. Why would we come to study scriptures unless and until we don't have a feeling within our heart and mind that scriptures can give us the right direction, give us the right orientation towards the final, towards the liberation that I am seeking, towards the eternal happiness that is my essential nature. Rest of the things will not. We have tried that. So until unless we do not have that feeling of Mahatmya, we won't study it, we won't pursue it, we won't desire it. And it's because of this Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the Brahman, that all the Indra, Vayu, Agni, they are all able to function. They can't function independently. Or it was said that Brahman is very difficult to know. Therefore, one, as long as you feel you are an individual, one must put efforts to know. From efforts, we move towards effortlessness. So what have, in this story we will see how the Devas, they put efforts to defeat the Asuras, and then they did put the efforts to go to check out who this Yaksha Maharaj is, and then whatever. So we must put efforts, otherwise we will become lazy. It is only available to one who is putting, not available to one who is putting efforts. He is the substratum. But it shows that it doesn't come for the lazy person. Nahi, ho jayega. When its grace is always flowing every time, everywhere. You only say he is the substratum. So he is there also right now. So what do I have to do anything? I don't have to do anything. He is. This leads to laziness, inertia, inadvertence. We don't want to go in that direction. And therefore, one must because it is so fine, so closer than the closest, one has to remain alert and vigilant while living their life. That is the effort that they have to put. And then and another reason could be that uh, that all the vidhi was given, that what are the do's and don'ts with regards to the sadhana. And this story uh, uh, demonstrates that that those who have not discovered their essential nature, they keep imagining through intellectualism that they know the Brahman, they have reached the Brahman, that I am Brahman. It becomes a mere lip service rather than aparoksha anubhuti. and and uh, and in this way, and when they, and what is that due to? That is due to kartrutva and bhoktrutva abhiman. These two have to go in order for realization to realization to happen. Yeah, for realization to happen. So with this background, let's get into the uh, first verse. And here it says the arrogance of the devas. ब्रह्मः देवेभ्यो विजिज्ञे, ब्रह्मः देवेभ्यो विजिज्ञे, तस्यः ब्राह्मणो विजये, तस्यः ब्राह्मणो विजये, देवा अमहीयन्त, देवा अमहीयन्त. The tune has gone out of whack. ब्रह्मः देवेभ्यो जिगये, तस्यः ब्राह्मणो विजये, देवा अमहीयन्त. It is very well known that the Brahman is not Brahmaji. Brahmaji is the creator who is coexisting along with maintainer and destroyer, Vishnu and Shiva. Brahman is their Bap. He is their Bap is Ishvara, but he is beyond Ishvara. In Amrutanova it comes as Paramashiva. Here it comes as Narayana. Either you can take Narayana as a Ishvara or you can take him as Brahman, but here we have to take it that he is other than the known expressions. That the gods, it is very well known that gods gained the victory due to the support of Brahman, due to Brahman. And what happened was, having won, instead of offering that victory at the altar of the divine, the altar of their substratum, altar of their god, without whom they are not, they got lost into kartrutva, bhoktrutva, and they said, we have won the war, we defeated, and I did this, I did that, you saw how I killed those 5, you know how I did that. And they forgot the Lord, the divine. And in this way it was so let's see, that is the point. Let's see what he's saying here. He says, ब्रह्म यथोक्त लक्षणम परम ह किल देवेभ्यो अर्थाय विजिज्ञे जयं लब्धवत्, देवानाम् असुराणां च संग्रामे असुरान् जित्वा जगदरातीन् ईश्वर सेतु भेतॄन् देवेभ्यो जयं तत्फलं च प्रायच्छन् जगतः स्थेम्ने. He says that it is well known. Brahma yatha ukta lakshanam param ha kila. Kila is the various qualities, and he says that it is very well known that Brahman, with all his attributes and all his power and all his qualities, uh, uh, helped the Devatas to gain the victory. Labdhavat Devanam Asuranam cha Sangrame, in the Devasur Sangram, which was Sangram means the war between Devas, who are immortal gods, and Asuras, who are opposite of Devas. They are not immortal, they are mortal. And Asuras, Asusu iti Asuras, those who are jealous of other people's wealth. Whatever someone else has, they want that. They are very, very material oriented. And they will do anything for that. There is no dharma, there is no right or wrong for them. And uh, they were their enemies. And who are these asuras? They do, in general, they do not believe in gods, they do not believe in the substratum, they do not believe in the God divine, and therefore they are so far away and therefore scattered, therefore unintegrated with the divine. Whereas Devas, that is another word for them is Sura, they are Asura, these are Sura. So Devas, they are more integrated in comparison to the Asuras. Now take it, okay, enjoy the story, we'll talk about the philosophy afterwards. So this Brahman, this supreme God, he helped the Devatas to win over the Asuras and bring about balance in the universe. And instead of taking the accolades of victory upon himself, he allowed the Devatas to get the accolades that they did well, and whatever, whenever any event is done, any act is done, there is always a phala, kriya phala is there, and that phala, instead of keeping it to himself, the great Brahman, he gave the phal, the result, he gave it to the gods, the Devas. Tasyah kila brahmano vijaye devaha agnyadayaha amahiyanta mahimanam praptavantaha. It is said, Tasya kila brahmano vijaye, in that victory it is said that Agni Devta, Vayu Devta and other Devtas, including Indra and others, they all gained the status that they have today because of their victory, which was supported by the Supreme Brahman. So it is said. Tada आत्मसंस्थस्य प्रत्यगात्मन ईश्वरस्य सर्वज्ञस्य सर्वक्रियाफलसंयोजयितुः प्राणिनां सर्वशक्तेः जगतः स्थितिं चिकीर्षोः अयं जयो महिमा चेति अजानन्तः ते देवाः ऐक्षन्त ईक्षितवन्तः. Then I'll read afterwards. So here he says, see, the gods, the Agni Devta and others, they were full of arrogance, as I said before, and as a result of that, the god, he is thinking that, अरे ये तो फिर गड़बड़ हो जाएगी. Arrogance always leads to fall, and therefore to help them. तो देखते हैं क्या बोलता है आगे. तो हाँ, मैं थोड़ा आगे निकल गया. नहीं, आई हैव टू रीड दिस सेकेंड वर्स. किसी ने बताया भी नहीं. तो all the gods gained their status as gods as a result of that victory in the Devasur Sangram. The aikshanta अस्माकम् एवायं विजयः अस्माकम् एवायं महिमेति तद्धैषां विजज्ञौ तेभ्योः प्रादुर्बभूव तन्न व्याजनत किमिदं यक्षमिति. We can read it again if you want. The aikshanta अस्माकम् एवायं विजयः अस्माकम् एवायं महिमेति तद्धैषां विजज्ञौ तेभ्योः प्रादुर्बभूव तन्न व्याजनत किमिदं यक्षमिति. The gods thought that this is our victory and this is our glory. The gods thought, devas, and it is said that that because he is the all-knower, who the supreme Brahman, the supreme reality is the all-knower. He knows what is going on in the minds of the god, what is going on in the minds of the asuras. Now don't keep these two people somewhere. Which means that he knows what is going on in our head also. He knows what desires we are harboring secretly within our hearts and minds. He can see our hypocrisy, he can see our shortcomings, he can see our good points and bad points. So who is the Supreme Brahman? Who knows what is the disposition of the devas? He knows that, and therefore wanting to help these devas to grow out of their arrogance, he appeared in front of them. Yeah, what did he say? Tebhyoha pradurbabhuva. Pradurbabhuva, he appeared in front of them. Tanna vyajanata. Then all the devatas, when they saw him, they said, "Arey, who is he? We have never seen this fellow. Who is this?" And he was very huge. He was lustrous. He was larger than anything that they had ever seen in their life. He was very attractive. And therefore, they started talking among themselves. So this was the verse. Now, the verse says, again I have to read. तदा आत्मसंस्थस्य प्रत्यगात्मन् ईश्वरस्य सर्वज्ञस्य सर्वक्रियाफलसंयोजयितुः प्राणिनां सर्वशक्तेः जगतः स्थितिं चिकीर्षोः अयं जयः महिमा चेति अजानन्तः ते देवा ऐक्षन्त ईक्षितवन्तः. Then this pratyagatma, tada atmasansthasya pratyagatman. So where is this Brahman? Brahman, the supreme reality, appears as the Atman within. Pratyagatman, the immediate self. So here he says, and where is this immediate self? Where can you catch it? In the Antakaran. How? As I. And through this I you can transcend the I. That is the only way. There is no other way. But to come to this I and stay with it and become subjective, Baapre, how much complications we create for ourselves. Unnecessarily. Anyway, that's another point. So this then the Atma Sansthasya Pratyagatman Ishwarasya Sarvajnasya Sarva Kriya Phala Sanyoja Yituhu प्राणिनाम सर्वशक्तेः. So this situated in the intellect, this Pratyagatma, because it is only in the intellect that he reflects himself. Gross body is the grossest, then subtler than gross body is the Pranamaya Kosh, finer than that is the Manomaya Kosh, finer than Manomaya Kosh is Vijnanamaya Kosh. And in Vijnanamaya Kosh, the Atma, it reflects as aham, aham, aham. And in Manomaya Kosh, idam, idam, idam. So that aham, so antakaran, mana buddhi chitta hankar, there he is expressing as Sarvajnya, the all-knower, and there alone he is sarva kriya phala sanyojayituhu, and he is the one that who gives you all the makes you able to give the karma and the karma phala or kriya phala, and desiring, because he is the prompter from inside. We think I like this, I don't like this, what is the reason? Is there any reason that you like this and you don't like this? Is there any logic behind it? That you like green color and you don't like blue color, or you like yellow color and you don't like a white color? There's no reason. It's just like that. When we were kids, many vegetables we didn't like. Why? We didn't know. Now, everything we like. Why? We don't know. You look at someone, immediately you gel with someone. You look at another person, even if you try, you don't gel with that person. Why? We don't know. Some weather suits you, some weather doesn't suit you. Why? There's no reason. It is just like that. But who is the prompter of all the karmas from within? Brahmarpanam Brahmavi Brahmagno Brahmanautam. Anyway, I'm going into explanation. I will leave that for the next chapter. So without going too much into detail. So Sampurna Sarva Kriya Phala, and desiring that this world should continue well. That is what the Brahman from within, this Pratyagatma, this is what it wants. What it wants, that this world should continue well, that this person, through this equipment where I am functioning, it should be integrated, it should do good deeds. He should, if he is identified, okay, identified, but he should do good karma and not go in the angle of arrogance, hypocrisy, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, which we see many times Indra going, no? So he doesn't want that. He wants not only those gods, because those gods are sitting here in our body only, everywhere. So he wants us to come to be integrated. He wants us to be happy. But the devas, they overlook that, and not knowing that there is some powerful person who's prompting all the activities through them. They started thinking. What did they think? Agnyadi Swarupa Parichinna Agnyadi Swarupa Parichinnatma Kruto Asmakam Evayam Vijayah Asmakam Evayam Mahima Agniwayuhu Indratvadi Lakshanaha. So they are, and who are these gods who started thinking? They are Agni, Vayu, Indra, etc. And who are these gods as compared to the supreme reality, the supreme Brahman or the Pratyagatma? In these gods have their own limitations. What Agni can do, Vayu cannot do. What Vayu can do, Indra Indra is the god, no doubt, but each one has their own set of limitations. They are not infinite in their nature. They might be subtle in their nature, because the principal fire is far and wide. The air is everywhere. It is keeping the whole solar system in its place if the wind was not there. But their scope may be huge. But just take comparison of Agni and Vayu and take space. Space is much more subtler than Agni and Vayu. Huh? So here it is told that that these gods, they started thinking that uh, they started thinking that we only did everything. There was no one, no, we did without any help from anyone. We achieved the victory, and they started singing their own accolades. They started boasting with each other over the Surapan. That this greatness is ours. We So they were each one patting each other on their greatness, that we did it, it was fantastic, and all those stories that go after a war. जयफल हे जयफलभूतो अस्माभिः अनुभूयते. That this glory of victory, jayafala he bhuto bhutah asmabhihi anubhuyate, this victory, what do you call, the glory of the victory that we are enjoying is because we earned it out with our own efforts. So until and unless, okay, we'll see. I'm inclined to keep explaining it. I can't help it. Because when we are listening, when we are doing meditation, when we are doing pranayam, whenever we are eating, when we are walking, when we drive a car and reach some destination, we have a challenge at work in front of us and we overcome it. Do we take ownership like these devas, or we offer it at the altar of the Lord? Do we offer it consciously? I'm not saying afterwards, no. Are you aware of that divine functioning, taking care, the speech that is coming out, what you are seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, whatever the karma has been done, action has taken place, the result is good or bad, without taking ownership of it? Are we vigilant enough to offer it at the altar of the divine, at the feet of the divine, at the feet of supreme reality? Or we did it? See? न न अस्मत् प्रत्यगात्म भूतेश्वर कृत इति. And in that arrogance, they were even ready to condemn the infinite power that is within them, the Ishvara who is within them. Na asmat pratyagatma bhuteshwara kruta iti. That this victory that has come about because of our efforts, not because of the Ishvara, because they are ignorant of him. So when we are ignorant, then he creates experiences, he creates incidents to wake us up. When we don't wake up, remember Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma? One by one, each one comes and wakes us up. एवं मिथ्या अभिमान ऐक्षणवतां तत् ह किल येषां मिथ्येक्षणं विजज्ञौ विज्ञातवद् ब्रह्म. In this manner, evam mithya abhimana aikshणवताम, with this the people, these devas who were thus thinking under the wrong notion that the Lord recognized, the Lord recognized their mithya vichar, their deluded thinking, the conclusion that they were coming. Because Lord is the supreme reality, the Lord, you call it Ishvara, He is the knower of everything and everyone, past, present, future. Where will you escape? No, in the darkness of the night I will think of something under the bed, under the duna cover, and nobody will able to know. He is listening, He is inside us. He is outside us. He is everywhere. And thus, the Lord, who is the knower of everything. Then the word next one here, sarva ikshata ikshitru. He has got eyes everywhere. He is the overseer of everything, or he sees everything, or nothing escapes his eyes, his vision, because he is situated in every one of us. In fact, that statement is wrong, that he is situated in each one of us. We are situated in him. Our location, his location is not inside us. We are located in him. So how can we escape? Remember that Narayana Upanishad I was reading? Tvam purasta ata, tvam dakshinata ata, chordhvata ata. You are in the front, you are at the back, you are at the left, you are at the right, you are inside, you are outside. Meaning what? Don't look at directions. We are in him. So sarva ikshata or ikshata. Then sarve kshitru hi tat sarvabhuta karana prayoktrutvāt devanam cha mithya jnanam upalabhyam aivasura deva mithyabhimanat parabhaveyuriti tadanukampaya. He says that now the Paramatma, who is the prompter of all activity within, prompter in the sense that without him no activity can begin. Heart cannot beat, breath cannot begin, you cannot start, the breath does not begin if the Paramatma is not there within in the heart of hearts. No individual can function without that supreme power. No car by itself can get started. Now they are coming to that slowly, electric car, and but press the button. But still, button has to be pressed by someone. You need a driver. Who is the driver of our body? The car is thinking, the driver is the horsepower. But what is the true driver? The driver is the actual person, living person, who put the key in there. Same way, the horsepower is the ego, is the ahankar. And what is the true power without which this equipment cannot function? That is the Ishvara, that is the supreme reality, that is the Pratyagatma. Without whom activities do not take place. It's not that he is making them take any activity. He is just there, but in his presence all activities happen. So in this way, the Paramatma, who is the prompter of uh, of all faculties, he recognized where the gods were going wrong, as he is the knower of everything, and that the gods are under the influence of what? Here the word used was mithya abhiman, ill, unwanted arrogance, illusory arrogance. Arrogance can come about only when you are under the clutches of illusion. Illusion comes about only when you are deluded. You are deluded when you don't know that there is a Ishvara within. So, our non availability to the divine Ishvara who is expressing as Pratyag Atma within leads to that delusion or non apprehension, leads to projection. What is that projection? That is the illusion. And what is that illusion? Acceptance of limitations as I. Acceptance of limitations as I. From that very moment that we forget the supreme, that is our nature, we have forgotten. For what reason? We don't know. It is like that. Immediately we project, or we get identified with this illusory body, which is continuously changing, but we are taking it to be real. Owning this to be I brings about the arrogance, that I have to maintain this body, I have to keep it healthy, I have to keep it, eat proper, I have to work hard, otherwise it will rust. That I have to increase its potentiality, I have to increase its power, I have to build its muscles, I have to take herbs and medicines to enhance its faculties. Trishanku also tried to do the same, and he wanted to go with the body to heavens. It was not possible. So, are we, if we are all spiritual seekers, are we taking ourselves to be the body and then seeking the truth? Or are we accepting ourselves to be the Pratyagatma, the infinite reality, which is expressing as Pratyagatma in and through all the bodies? Which one are you considering yourself? The first option, the Devas did not even take the first option, because they were ignorant of that supreme reality, therefore they were arrogant. And so are we. I did it, I became rich, I got my children married, I built this portfolio, I was born in this country, I am a self-made man, and it never ends. I. That is what is arrogance. And this divine prompter from within, he recognized this fault within the gods, and this mithya abhiman that they were under the influence of. So, out of sheer compassion, out of sheer grace, the divine, out of sheer grace for the gods, what did he do? देवान् मिथ्याभिमाना मान अपनो अपनो दने दनेन अनुगृहीयाम इति तेभ्यः देवेभ्यः किलार्थाय प्रादुर्बभूव स्वयोग महात्म्य निर्मितेनाति अद्भुतेन विस्मापनीयेन रूपेण देवानाम् इंद्रियगोचरे प्रादुर्बभूव प्रादुर्भूतवत्. He says that he decided that Supreme God, out of compassion for the gods, he decided to go and help gods to remove their shortcoming, to remove their arrogance. And is this arrogance real? No. To remove their false arrogance. So whatever experiences are coming in our life on daily basis, moment to moment basis, the Lord is only creating it so that we can come back to recognize that we are none other than Him. Instead of blaming, instead of complaining, instead of finger pointing, instead of why me, either it is a depressive state, why me, or it is pointing at others, that all the miseries in my life is because of others. Everything is all the situations in our life are created by Him so that we can come back to our essential nature. Important is that. and thus that Supreme Bhagwan, Supreme the God, he goes. So the Lord is able to, and He goes and appears in front of them. And why He appears in front of them? So that see, Bhagwan doesn't need, the Lord, the Ishvara, the Supreme Reality, does not need anyone's help in order to establish Himself. The body needs the breath in order to survive. Otherwise, body cannot survive. Body and breath need mind to survive. Body, breath and mind need the intellect to survive. The Panch Koshas need the life force, the reflected consciousness, the Chaitanya Vastu, without which they cannot survive. Look at it another way. The earth cannot survive without water. Earth and water cannot survive without fire. Earth, water, fire cannot survive without air. Earth, water, fire, air cannot survive without space. The Pancha Tattvas cannot survive without the Avyakta, the unmanifest. Unmanifest cannot function, cannot express without the Ishvara. And Ishvara and Prakriti are the expressions of that Supreme Brahman. See? Recognize this within yourself. So this Supreme Reality does not need anyone's help to establish Himself. To gain knowledge, we need scriptures to gain knowledge, we need teacher to gain knowledge, we need senses to experience the world, we need mind and intellect to process information. Does Ishvara need all this? No. He is self-knowing, self-existing, self-luminous. He is established in His own greatness. He doesn't need to prove anything to anyone because nothing in this creation is outside of him. Does water need to prove to the wave that I am water? But without water, wave cannot be. So is our situation. We are the wave. Does God need to prove of his existence? No. He is present. He is the common denominator. But we foolishly, and here in the story, the gods foolishly are thinking that, hey, we did it ourselves. So, this Supreme God, he does not need anyone else's support or help. He is self sufficient to establish his greatness. And why he is going to do that? He is going to do that so that all by himself, so that the ignorant devas, in other words, ignorant people who are unable to understand the greatness, come to recognize the greatness of that great power without which they cannot function. That is the purpose. So he appeared in front of the gods, and when he appeared, here it says, he appeared, and with his own Yogamaya, he made everyone wonder in the manner that he expressed himself, because he was larger than life, so lustrous, so auspicious, so powerful, so divine, that all the gods were in wonderment, and becoming that formless, attributeless, qualityless reality, Brahman, took a form, took an avatar. Pradurbhu is appeared. Avatar is an appearance. So that which is beyond the faculties appeared in such a manner that all the devatas are able to experience him, are able to see him, are able to hear him. See? If we remove this ego outside of us, we will see that supreme reality everywhere. Because there is nothing other than supreme reality everywhere. We chant Ganapati Atharva, we chant Narayana Upanishad, we chant Narayana Suktam, but try to understand the meaning, the depth of it. If we are in him, not keep chanting, he is in front of me, he is behind me, he is east of me, he is west of me, no, which means we are in him. That means everything that we are seeing is nothing but him, but our vision is corrupted. We are not able to see everything as it is because of our obsession with this form. So he appeared, becoming an object of comprehension. He appeared as an object of comprehension for the devas, meaning for the faculties. And tat pradurbhutam brahma na vyajanat na eva vignatavantah deva kimidam yaksham pujyam mahatbhutam iti. And when he appeared, that when that Brahman appeared as that in the form of that yaksha in front of the devatas, they could not understand who is this, because they have never experienced, seen, come across someone like that ever before in their existence. And therefore, who is this yaksha? Who is this worthy one? Mm, and they were not able to know who he is, and therefore they were क्या कहेंगे उसको, they were impressed by his auspiciousness, because merely while looking they could feel that it is something auspicious that is in front of them, nothing to be afraid of. Ghost on a post, you will be afraid. Snake on a rope, you will be afraid. But that Brahman appearing as a yaksha, nothing to be afraid of, and therefore yaksha also means the one who is most adorable, the one who is most lustrous, the one who is most beautiful, and such a one cannot be an asura. They have just defeated asura, so it cannot be someone from there. So it must be someone whom even the devtas are wondering about. So it must be something great. Continuing. But they were unable to, where they were sitting in their Indra Sabha, from there they were not able to find out who this wonderful person is. Therefore, continuing, te agnim abruvan jataveda etadvijanihi kimidam yakshamiti tatheti. Another way to read it, te agnim abruvan jataveda etadvijanihi kimidam yakshamiti tatheti. So then all the gods, while they were wondering who this fantastic person is in front of them, beautiful yaksha is in front of them, this pujaniya yaksha is in front of them, they all spoke to Agni. Oh Agni, oh Jataveda. So Agni's name is Jataveda also, because without Agni you cannot have any form in this creation. Creation without form is what? So go and find out from this yaksha, who is he? Kimidam yakshamiti. Who is this yaksha? Go and find out. And Agni said, Tatha iti. Okay, I'll go. Now the commentary. Te tad ajanantaha devaha santah bhayaha tad vijignasavah agnim agragaminam jatavedasam sarvajna kalpam abruvan uktavantaha. All those gods who did not know the yaksha, or all the gods not knowing who this beautiful appearance is in front of them, here it says, I'm on the correct one, na? All these gods not able to know who this god is, there was terrible fear in their hearts. Bhayaha tad vijignasavaha, because they were not able to know who is this. And usually there is fear of the unknown. Even among humans it is the same. Even with our mind it is the same. Imagine this whole story is going on in your head only. All the gods are your senses. Indra is your mind, and the story is going on. And they had terrible sa antar bhayaha they had terrible fear within their hearts, and they wanted to know. So this Agni, here it says, Agragaminam Agnim Agragaminam Jata Vedasam Sarvajna Kalpam Abruvan Uktavantaha. So, with that fear, wanting to know who he is, they went to Agni. Who is Agni? Agni is who is always the first, always in the front, and Agragaminam means always in the front, and Jata Veda Vedasam, meaning another name of his is Jata Veda. Because Jata Veda means as if he is the knower of everything, because all forms are because of Agni. Agni is fire is the first element which has a form. So without fire, you can't have any forms in this universe. And that element fire is the substratum of all the forms. And therefore he knows all the forms. So just like I got so many bulbs here, if one bulb goes away, nothing happens to the principle of light. Light continues. Similarly, the principle of fire, it alone is expressing as all the forms. And therefore, they say, Sarvajna Kalpam Abruvan Uktavantaha. And also remember one thing, Agni, apart from being Agni expresses as the Surya in the right eye, Chandrama in the left eye. Where else does Agni express fire? As the speech. Speech is because of fire. See? And therefore, whenever we have to interact with someone, always speech is the first one. Agradevata. Agragaminam. Jata Vedasam. And they said, He Jata Vedaha. Sorry. He Jata Vedaha. Etad अस्मद् गोचरस्थं यक्षं विजानीहि विशेषतः युध्यस्वत्वं नः तेजस्वी किमेतद् यक्षमिति. ओ जातवेद, हे जातवेद, this Yaksha who is standing in front of our faculties, in front of our senses, you go and find out who is this Yaksha, and you are, and you know what, they just don't say that you go they say युद्धस्वतम नह तेजस्वी किमेतद्य क्षमिति. यू आर द मोस्ट इलस्ट्रियस अमंग अस. जब किसी को सूली पे चढ़ाना होता है, व्हेन यू वांट टू get something done from someone, you have to praise that fellow. Just before they were all saying, I killed so many, I did that, I did this. Now suddenly, when they saw the Yaksha, Giggi ban gayi. They tell the Indri, you are the most brightest. You go and find out. You are powerful, man. And he was already pumped up. Okay, I will go and find out. And therefore, Tatheti, okay, I'll go and find out. See, this Mithya Abhiman, Mithya means wrongly placed arrogance, meaning we have considered we are the body by mistake. That mistake then appears as Kartrutva Abhiman, Bhoktrutva Abhiman. So this is mithya abhiman. This is the normal disposition of the asuras, not of devas. And if devas start behaving like this, then they will lose all their luster, they will lose all their tej, they will lose all their the status of devas. So when we in our life go around with this mithya abhiman, you know, you will be surprised, and you must have seen it also many places. I know two or three of them, Mahatmas in Kashi, who have done PhD. They write Swami so and so, double PhD, single PhD, Doctor Swami so and so. You know, Swami is, sannyas is giving up of all speciality. But they have not been able to give up this doctor in philosophy, doctor in whatever they did their PhD in. They have not been able to give that up, even though they call themselves sannyasi. So you will see many Mahatmas, doctor so and so. Swami Garbhadananda, eye surgeon. So what does that show? That yes, he is a sannyasi, he may be talking well, he is doing his sadhana, he is maintaining more, but he is still attached to his identity as a PhD doctor or any other profession. तो लिखा स्वामी गड़बड़ानंदा पद्म भूषण. ऐसे भी है महात्मा जिनको गवर्नमेंट हैज गिवन. But that becomes more important, you know, because putting that name, putting that doctor, suddenly your status in the society, people start looking at you with a different eye. अरे वाह, पंगे मत लेना, he is a doctor. मिथ्या अभिमान. Mithya is this body. Mithya, what is mithya? That which appears in its own absence is mithya. Abhiman, accepting that which is not there to be there is mithya abhiman. See? So not only these gods, the story is ours also. So beware. Where are we? Did we do the third one? Then in the next verse, in the fourth one, tad abhyadravat tamabhyavadat kositi agnirva ahamasmiti abravijata vedava ahamasmiti. तद अभ्यद्रवत तम अभ्यवदत कोसीति अग्निर्वा अहमस्मीति अब्रवीज्जात वेदावा अहमस्मीति. Then that Agni, he went in front of that Yaksha, and that Yaksha asked Agni, who are you? And Agni said, I am Agni, and I am certainly Jata Veda. I am known by two names. Don't you know me? That arrogance. So what does he say? Tatha astu iti. In the Bhashya, Tatha astu iti, meaning the Agni said, okay, I'll go, don't worry. Because he was already pumped up. किसी से काम करवाना है, you just give them a tap on the shoulder, tell them, oh, you are doing very well, If the child is not doing anything, give that person a little bit of incentive, say nice words. Suddenly that person gets pumped up. Then you can make that person do anything you want. And same is with this Agni. He got pumped up. Tad yakshma abhi adravat tat prati gatvan agnihi. And then Agni ran with great arrogance and urgency to the Yaksha, with a desire to know who he is. But when he came close to him, as he ran quickly and came close to him, suddenly he found himself dumbstruck. And then it says, Tam cha gatavantam पिपृच्छिचुं तत्समीपे अप्रगल्भत्वात् तूष्णीभूतं तद्यक्ष्म अभ्यवदत् अग्निं प्रति अभाषत कोसीति. So, and when this Tamcha Gantavanta, when Agni reached him and suddenly became totally dumb, totally quiet, he could not speak also, he could not, because it was such a fantastic vision in front of him. The appearance, when you see a beautiful northern lights or southern lights, once we saw many years ago, nowadays we don't see it in Melbourne. Oh, the words don't come out. Yesterday I went down my driveway, I had put some camellia flowers, plants, 4 of them or 5 of them. And the first flower came. 2 months ago I planted them. First flower came. And it's so lemon color, almost like a rose, so beautiful. See? Just stood there looking at it, the beauty of nature. How perfectly each petal is placed by nature. A beautiful rainbow, the beautiful chirping of the birds. When you hear 2 birds talking to each other, not kookaburra, other birds. Kookaburra is also fascinating. You can't, you just want to listen, or you are on the banks of a lake and just listening to the lapping waves. You can't say anything there. You just sit still. Same way, our Agni Maharaj, he went and he wanted to ask the question, who are you? Agni has gone to do the enquiry, to go to find out about Yaksha. Instead, when he goes there, he finds himself dumb and can't speak one single word. And this Yaksha, seeing this seeing that Agni was overpowered by his presence, his divine presence, instead the Yaksha Maharaj spoke to Agni and he said, "Oh, no, who are you?" Instead of Agni asking, he is asking, "Who are you?" And then once that क्या बोलते हैं, the silence was broken, then एवं ब्रह्मणा पृष्टो अग्निः अब्रवीत, then अब्रवीत अग्निर्वै अग्निर्नाम अहम प्रसिद्धो जातवेदा इति च नामद्वयेन प्रसिद्धतयात्मानं श्लाघयन्निति. देखो, when he asked, "Who are you?" he says, I am Agni, and I am the famous Agni who is also known by the name of Jataveda. I am that Agni who is famously known as Jataveda also. And this prakar, in this way, I am famous all over by these two names, still exhibiting his arrogance after that one moment of wonderment. So he kept boasting, and it's almost like the father is allowing the child to win the carom game or the Uno, and then the child goes, Mummy, Mummy, I defeated Daddy, I am the winner, yes, I am the winner. Like that, this Agni is in front of the Yaksha. Yaksha is the father of all. He is the substratum, he is the constant one, he is the essence. And in front of him, Agni is boasting, I am. Pange mat lena mere se. You don't know who I am. I am famously known as Agni and Jataveda. Continuing. तस्मिन् त्वयि किं वीर्यमिति अपीदगं सर्वं दहेयं यदिदं पृथिव्यामिति तस्मिन् त्वयि किं वीर्यमिति अपीदगं सर्वं दहेयं यदिदं पृथिव्यामिति. Then Yaksha asked that Jataveda or Agni, what is your capability? What is your power? And Agni answered, whatever is there on this earth, I can burn everything. See the arrogance? Because अभी अभी नशा चढ़ा है ना, जीत के आए हैं. Then in the 5th verse he says, Eva muktavantam Brahma vochat tasmin evam prasiddha gunanamavati tvayi kim viryam samarthyamiti. And speaking in this manner, that Brahman, Yaksha Maharaj, he asked Agni, Oh you famous and two named one, what is your strength, what is your capability? Then he said, so bravid idam jagat sarvam daheyam bhasmi kuryam yad idam sthavaradi prithivyamiti. He says, on this earth, whatever is moving and unmoving, everything, so bravid idam jagat sarvam daham basmi kuryad yad idam sthavaradi. Sthavaradi means that which is moving and unmoving, everything I can burn and turn into ashes. पृथिव्याम इति उपलक्षणार्थम यतः अंतरिक्षस्थम अपि दह्यत एव अग्निना. And that not only on the earth but whatever is in the space also, that can also be burnt by the fire. That is my power. And in this manner our so here Prithvi is not to be taken only as earth. Prithvi here means anything that is solid. So it means every solid object in this universe can be destroyed by the power of fire. Every object. Continuing. Tasmai trunam nidadhau etadaheti tad upapreyaya sarvajavena tanna shashaka dugdagdhum satata eva nivvrute naita dashakam vignatum yad yaksham again, tasmai trunam nidadhau etadheti tad upapreyaya sarvajavena tanna shashaka dagdhum satata eva nivavrute naitad dashakam naitad dashakam naitad ashakam vignatum tadetad yakshamiti. Then that yaksha uh, uh, kept in front of Agni Devata one leaf of grass, green grass. Trunam is the leaf of grass, and he says, Nidadav etad daheti. Now burn this. He kept the grass on it and burned this. बड़ा आया है पूरे यूनिवर्स को जलाने वाला. But Brahman is not arrogant. He is just doing all this so that they come to their senses and don't enjoy the victory by recognizing that it was all the doing of a higher power, not their own individual power. And Agni went closer to that blade of grass, and used all its potential, all its power, but he could not burn that blade of grass. And then, having pent up all his energy to burn that blade of grass, and when he couldn't do it, he returned from there, and when he returned back to the Indra Sabha, people naturally they asked, "Arey, who is he? You went to find out." He says, and then he says, "I could not find out who he is." And he went and sat down. Now that is the story. The bhashya is, क्या टाइम हो गया? Okay, ठीक है. Then I'll leave it here. I'll do this part next time because it's already time now. We won't be able to finish. चलो ये खत्म करते हैं. तस्मै एवं अभिमानवते ब्रह्म तृणं निदधौ पुराग्रेहे स्थापितवत. In this manner, that arrogant Agni, in front of that arrogant Agni, or Agni with arrogance, Brahman kept a blade of grass, and then what did he do? Brahmana etat trunamatram bhamagratah daha na chaidasi dagdum samartha muncha muncha dagdhrutvaabhimanam sarvatra ityuktah. So when Brahman said in this, that Yaksha said it in this manner, that that you, in front of me you burn this blade of grass, that and if you are not able to, here he says, muncha dagdhrutvaabhimanam sarvatra. If you are unable to burn the blade of grass, then let go, give up all your mithya abhiman that you are carrying. This is the statement from our Brahman or the Yaksha. Tat trunam upapreyaya truna samipam gatavan sarvajavena sarvotsaha krutena vegena. Then Agni, invoking all the power within himself, with great power and great inspiration, he went and closer to the blade of grass and tried to burn it. But gatva tat na shashaka nashakrat dagdhum, but he was unable to burn it even an iota. Then saha jata vedaha trunam dagdhum ashaktah व्रीडितः हृतप्रतिज्ञः तत् एव यक्षा देव तूष्णीं देवान् प्रति निववृते निवृत्तः प्रतिगतवान् न एतद् यक्ष्म अशकं शक्तवान् अहं विज्ञातुं विशेषतः यद् एतद् यक्षम् इति. So, incapable of burning that blade of grass, this and getting exhausted with that effort, and getting embarrassed after that trial, Agni Devata, without saying any word, about turn, piche mud, left, right, left, right, left, right. He came back to where all the devatas were there, and he withdrew back to where all the nivritta is withdrawal. Pravritta is involvement, nivritti is withdrawal. So he withdrew back to where all the gods were waiting for news from Agni Devata, and when they asked, he said, this yaksha etad yakshma ashakam shaktavan aham vignatum visheshatah yad etad yaksham iti. I was not able to definitely, conclusively make out who this yaksha is, who this power is, who is this most wonderful, beautiful one is. I was incapable to find out his true identity. And now, next week, the next challenger will be Vayu Devata. So what he says, we'll take it from there. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Another thought coming before I forget it, and that is, remember I keep saying from Taittiriya Upanishad it comes yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha, that words cannot reach the supreme reality, mind cannot comprehend the supreme reality. So speech cannot, Agni is represent, it is because of him that the speech happens. So speech is not able to know it, so we have seen that. Next is Vayu. What is that because of which the thoughts move in the mind? They come and go, no, the thoughts in the mind. Can the thoughts come and go by themselves? There must be someone who is allowing them to, pushing them. That is the Vayu. So again, mind also is not able to, mind meaning thoughts, is not able to comprehend the reality. That hopefully we'll conclude it next week and probably start the 4th chapter also. Just sit quietly for a few seconds.